All right, my friend. So this is our first strategy call from coming back from a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
And it looks like you've made some leaps and bounds since we last talked, my friend. Just by looking at your setup here, you got your mic and your just backdrop. Dude, this looks insane.
A lot of changes, which is a good thing, though.
So get me up to speed. I know this call is a 60-minute call, and I'm going to be taking notes. But I want to get up to speed to where you're at. I remember you were talking offline, and you said, there's a couple different, transitions that you're looking forward to taking. And right. I'm curious to hear about them so that I can put my, brain together and try to give you some strategy to help you grow this puppy.
Right. So before I was doing the coaching and I hadn't really landed a speaker's agent. Well, now that I have a speaker's agent, we briefly talked about that. The focus, because I was thinking about like how do I get more dialed in? I don't like people calling me a life coach because that's not what I do. A business coach, and I've been in business, but owning a business is something new. So just career coach, but I've dialed it down to the one thing that I feel I have the potential to be the best in the world at, and that's being a speaker's coach, right?
Okay.
And really, so as you are to branding, I want to be to speaking, right? But the caveat to that is, okay, obviously I'm a speaker. I do corporate and I do all kind of events. That's Dom Faussette. With speaking, so if I have a Dom Faussette speaker or however that works website, it's okay, Dom the speaker, here's some of his upcoming events, past events, and if you want to get coaching on speaking, like me personally, I think everybody should have a speaker's coach because everybody speaks. That's how we communicate, right? That's our bark. And whether you're a social media influencer, you're on stage, you're interviewing, no matter where you're at, you're trying to date, like everybody, in my opinion, needs a speaker's coach. And that's what I'm extremely passionate about. Hindsight, I realized that, okay, I've been getting coached to speak since I was in second grade. That's why I'm where I'm at. And when I get on stage, I crush it. So how can I help people become so comfortable with who they are that when they orate, they sound like they know what they're talking about? And that's like the Dom Faussette speaker. I sent you a video the other day working with a guy I met relating to kind of building a brand around Think, React, Lead. So there's kind of two areas that I'm trying to merge. And one of the questions on your application was, who do you not want to be like who do you resonate with, or what other brands are comparable to you, something along those lines. And I mentioned three, like I'm looking for this overarching approach to what's that guy, like John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, and Diddy, right? Because to me, speaking is 80% entertainment, 20% education. And if I'm going to teach people how to speak, like speaking has put six figures in my life. And it dawned on me the other day, like I wouldn't be where I'm at in life had I not had the ability to speak. Where branding has put that plus in your life. And you feel that every single person, whether you're a kindergartner or you're 3 days from death, should have a brand, right? Like their brand should be, like people don't know who you are if you don't have a brand.
That's correct.
And
you don't necessarily need a business to brand yourself.
No, exactly. And I believe that everybody should just know how to speak, and speaking will bring me millions. I already know that. And teaching people, I want people to do that. Like how many times have we all gone out to an event or even had the opportunity to get on stage and we got on stage and we just bombed it, or we've seen somebody bomb it. Like I want to help people do that. And I had a guy literally just cut me a check the other day for a few grand to teach him how to talk. So, and this was somebody who saw me speak at an event. He's like, dude, I saw you quit your job. I saw you do your book. I saw you do this. You're a man of your word. I like how I felt when you spoke. How do I do that? And boom. Next weekend, I got a guy flying out here to spend half a day with me just to teach him how to speak.
Oh my God.
So that tells me, and I haven't marketed or advertised speakers coaching.
Right.
That tells me that's the thing I'm passionate about. Like,
there's a need. So right. So your target audience is speakers.
Yes, and people that will have opportunities to speak. For example, if you're a branding expert, which you are, or you're a whatever subject matter expert you are, if you're not ready to get on stage tomorrow to talk to an audience, then you're going to disconnect with them. Absolutely. And yes, we have everybody's on social media. So how do you separate yourself? You do the one thing that most people don't want to do, which is speak. Right.
Okay. So what we really want to clearly define is who it is that we're talking to. Okay. So what I like to do with my clients is I like to create 3 different user personas, or user profiles, I should say, not personas, user profiles. So the one person could be that speaker who is trying to monetize it, is trying to monetize his speaking engagements. Mm-hmm. Another profile could be a child who had a traumatic experience who now is getting opportunities to speak all around the country and world, and they're looking to freshen up, their speaking ability, so they're more polished and presentable, right? So that sounds like the second type of user persona, and then there's probably one more.
I would say it's the in the social media world, there's a lot of people that say they're branding experts or social media strategists, or just anything that falls in the lines of teaching a company how to use Instagram, Facebook, any platform. So kind of teaching those people how to tell their story from a stand. Like, I have a guy now that I'm working with. He's a social media strategist, but when he gets on stage, he tells people what he does. I can help you grow your business. Okay, 1 million people say that. My conversation with him was, dude, what got you into social media? Aha. And it was, he's first generation American. He's the youngest of 4 or 5 siblings who work extremely hard. And for him, it was an outlet. And as he kind of poured his soul into social media, he found this connection with it. And he said it warmed him up. And I told him, when you get on stage and you tell that story, that's going to connect you to your audience. Not, I can help you grow your business, because everybody sees that. So it's really separating yourself from everybody else. So teaching people how to do that. Okay.
So so that's great. And I love the video that you shared with me the other day. I mean, the quality of that video is amazing. And I saw some rooms for opportunity with the video.
Oh, totally.
Which you can share, not from a production standpoint, from a branding standpoint and from a message standpoint. So, for example, we want that video to help you bring in more potential revenue, right? More potential clients. You just didn't make that video to, get you excited. We just did the video. He just wanted to do it as a sample. We were already going to the boat to go wakeboarding, so it was just a sample. Like, he was like, dude, let me show you what I can do. So we were already going to the lake, so we just knocked that out. It was gorgeous. Like, let me just give you a quick example and not beat around the bush. Like, at the end of that video, there should be a call to action at the end of that video, there should be a one-liner that gets them so fired up, and then your website URL should appear.
Right. Like, I haven't even posted it yet. Like, that video probably won't get posted for another couple of weeks, just because obviously there's the call to action aspect of it. So
yeah, I'm just saying, and here's where I'm going to come in and say, all right, this is what we want to do to get the most bang for our buck out of that video, because that video should be on your website.
Okay.
The video should be on your social media platforms. you know, and there should be a multitude of them, not just one.
Oh yeah. We're going to shoot one video every 2 or 3 weeks.
Awesome. Okay. So now that we know your direction, so you're the speaker's speaker.
Right.
Right. And you want to help these folks, and you know that there's a need for it because you have people reaching out to you saying, dude, here's my credit card. Just help me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do is we want to start to document these calls. And, you know, just like I did with you, you know, you get permission and, you know, would you mind if we documented all of this? You know, because what I want to do is I want to create a case study out of you. I want to create a raving testimonial out of you. I want you to be my next success story, right? When you approach them like that, they're going to be like, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so what I want you to do is start documenting this stuff. And if you want example, just go to my YouTube channel. I mean, you'll see how I'm working with clients now, and everything is very, very transparent. So I want you to follow suit because, like you said, and I validate exactly what you just said, you can scream at people until you're purple, how you are you're going to help people get on stage and make an impact and tell their story. But until they see Dom Faussette do it, and it's no surprise to me that those guys just threw money at you, because when I've seen you on stage and you are a presence, right?
Right.
So there was no, you're a practitioner as well. So point is, you're showing improving, and that's why these people are like, here, take my money.
Okay.
And so what we want to do is we want to amplify that and create ways to do this sort of automatically or on an automated process. So I would love for you to start recording those strategy sessions with the client.
Okay.
Having your buddy edit them, make them look fancy, if you will. Intro, outro, you know, maybe put some music and put some transitions in between. And then now start and put that on your YouTube channel, or now start to put that in a course format. And then
that's the goal.
Yeah. So once you get a bunch of content up and ready, right, you can systematically plop that into a course and now sell the course. And now that's passive income. All you do is, hey, go over here and buy this course, right? And that sort of takes you out of the
hands off.
Yeah, exchanging the time for money thing, right? So that's a long-term play.
Right.
So my concern is just making sure that you have an internal process or system that you're taking your clients through.
Right. And that's I mean, and it's the system. So me and systems don't go hand in hand. You work with me long enough. The two quick things I want to put together, just a quick 5 steps to getting comfortable on stage, right? And maybe that's like, it's not, maybe it's free. I don't know. But what I forget is that people still have fear of speaking. So I have to start with a real quick, hey, here's a real quick course, check it out. I don't like free, that word doesn't sound right with me, but here's a quick course, just check it out, and knock out a couple videos with that, just using the background, just 5 things before you even think about getting on stage. And I can knock that out pretty easily and just get that out to the masses. Yep. Then the guy that's flying out next week, the videographer will be there. He'll be in the truck. I'll pick him up from the airport, all that jazz. So all that video will be there. We're like a Gary Vee meets Dom Faussette type of thing.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to wherever we go. We'll do the coaching. I'll probably do it outdoors. And just grind him for 4 hours, and then he'll be good to go. So that's where I'm at with that. But yes, so the systemizing aspect of it, that's obviously where you come into play. And
so I can give you some recommendation. I have I use a platform called Basecamp. There's Trello. There's a bunch of different platforms there's Asana. You know, there's all different types of project management softwares that you could use. Basecamp seems to be the best and easiest. I could actually walk you through how the beauty of this is I can share screen with you and kind of walk you through something real quick. You can see my screen, right?
Sure can.
Okay. So there's a template section over here.
Right.
So when I onboard a client, they get put into the Brand Accelerator program, and this is the workflow. This is the template.
Okay.
So I work in 3 phases. Phase 1 is like the discovery and diagnosis, right? That's all our strategy.
Okay.
And then phase 2 is all the design work, right? And then phase 3 is we have to take all of that design work and actually develop it so that it's functional and working.
Okay.
And so this is how I take a client. So when they onboard, they fill out this form first, and once they fill that out, they check it off the list. Boom, done.
Got it.
Just like this. Oh, it's not doing it. But yeah, I don't know why it's not doing it. We got to delete that anyway. And then so once we finish strategy call 1, we check it off. We schedule strategy call number 2. So basically what I would like to see you do is create some sort of framework, and you can map this out on paper first.
Right.
Just to give you a little, just to make it easier for you. And then bring your clients through that process, because there's going to be times where you're going to get prospects on the phone and they're going to say, well, what does all this include? Like, what am I going to get for $4,000 or $5,000,
right.
$10,000, whatever. Right. And so when people ask me, like, what's your discovery, process? I can literally share screen with them, take them right here and show them.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would really look at the pains and trials and tribulations that people have when it comes to speaking, and where all the nonsense needs to be corrected.
Okay.
And I would map that out. And if I recall, I want to say that you have all this sort of done already.
I have it done for myself, but I need to. So I have stuff like that done for actual career coaching, but it's a little bit different for the speakers coaching.
Okay.
There's a lot of internal stuff. So I have it for myself, but I have to dissect it and dial it down, because it takes a while to get to where I'm at as a speaker. And I think that's important to let people know.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So that's very important. So I think your next step is to, again, write in that notebook. I would ask yourself, what is the process that I need to take my clients through so that they feel like they are going through, a boot camp, a curriculum, a framework, so that they, at the end of it, come out with some serious knowledge, wisdom, insight, and power.
So what I'm currently doing, and this has been the simplest way, is I have them record. Everybody I'm dealing with is currently a speaker. Like, they've spoken before once or twice, nothing crazy. So if they have an event coming up, I have them record on their phone, whether it's 20 minutes, 30 or 45 minutes, their talk.
Okay.
And a lot of speakers, younger speakers, not age, but in time frame, don't do that. I have them record their talk, send it to me, I critique it. Okay. Because everybody's different. And then after I critique it, I send the video back on all the fixes and the things that they would want to change, to drive home that specific talk. So people actually come to me, right, like, look, dude, I got to talk in a month. Can you help me out? Yeah, let's knock this out. So that's what I've been working with thus far. People that, and then getting them comfortable on camera, because I have found huge benefit being on video. Getting them comfortable telling their story on camera, and then they'll do that. Like a guy I'm working with right now, he sent it to me, I critique it, I send it back. 3 days later, he does it again. He sends it back to me, I critique it, I send it back. By the third time, he should be ready to get on stage, right? But it's that where I miss people is, or I make people feel uncomfortable is, and I'm not emotional about, like, they don't want to put in the work to stand in front of the camera, to spend, like, standing in front of a camera with no audience and doing 20 minutes of your own talk it's not easy. So I think for me, I need to have maybe not be so tough and have a little process in the beginning to build up that point of getting to 20 minutes and talking on their camera, being comfortable with sending it out.
Yeah,
I don't post anywhere.
Dom, I want to take it a step back, like even further, right? I want to back out of the actual coaching aspect of it. I want to go back to the process that people take to even get to you, right? So, for example, you and I both come from the same cloth. We don't like free, and so when somebody reaches out to you on social media, I'm going to give you a quick scenario. Somebody reaches out to social media and says, man, Dom, I just saw that last video you posted. You're powerful. I'm a speaker myself, and I'm trying to ramp up my presence and my delivery. What does it look like to work with you to, get that coaching? I want you to respond. Appreciate you reaching out. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. I follow a very specific process, and it starts with an introductory call. And it's a 30-minute call. It's $100. I'll see where you're at. I'll see where I can diagnose how and where I can help you. And at the end of that call, you're going to figure out whether or not we're going to be a good fit or not. So here's the link. And so go ahead and get started if you're serious. So now what happens is they go to that, they pay to $97, they fill out a questionnaire, you get them on the phone, and you basically go over that questionnaire with them to make sure that they're a good fit, right? And then at the end, you propose whatever it is the best solution is, right? And so now you have those steps out of the way. And now once they say, all right, this sounds great. Do you take Amex? And you say, yep, sure. You do the Amex. And now what? Now they need to be onboarded. So now what you need to do is now discuss with them what the next step is. Well, Tom, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to receive an email, and this email is going to tell you to do one thing. It's going to have you record a 30-minute presentation, or that presentation that you're trying to refine, and you need to send that over to me as soon as possible. Once that gets done, I will take the time then to review that, and then step 2 would be for me to give you critiques and then send that back to you for you to actually redo it. And then step 3 would be for you to re-record it with my suggestion and then send it back to me. And then, so you notice how I just laid out your entire process.
Right.
I want you to lay that out however you want that to look, right? Because when you do that, it's going to give you the confidence for when you get a prospect on the phone or on email or on social media, you have a very solid deliverable the second they interact with you.
Correct. Okay.
And then it's just a rinse and repeat. It's just a rinse and repeat. So when people reach out to me on Facebook, all these different these platforms, I say, appreciate you reaching out. I would be happy to help you. I follow a very strict process. It starts with an introductory call. Here's the link. They either book it or they don't.
And you do it moving.
That's it. Just saved a whole bunch of time on your end and saved a whole bunch of time on their end.
Perfect.
So I want you to get clear on that, because that's going to help you really scale and become that force to be reckoned with.
Okay.
So
done.
Yeah, that would be my next steps, is just to map out that whole process. And then once you get that mapped out, phase 2 would be to map out. Well, no, that is the whole map. I was going to say phase 2 is map out the process of the deliverables, but that's what I want you to do here. And that is going to then be set in stone, and then you could build it out in Basecamp or whatever platform you decide, whatever works well. One thing I want to plant in your head, because I know you don't like systems, I know you don't like structure, but one of the things that my mentor said to me years ago was, the more structure you have in your life, the more freedom you will have in your life.
Got it.
It sounds crazy. It sounds like an oxymoron.
But it makes sense, though. I mean, I get it. I mean, because somebody contacts me, they get a link. There's a specific way that we do the program, the good thing about what I do is there's not a lot of face-to-face communication, i.e. what we're doing now. There's not a lot of phone calls because it's video homework. So and I usually get them back within 48 to 72 hours. And then we go from there. And the whole goal is for people to have a command presence. That's what I lean heavy on, my command presence on stage. Well, in life, but specific to what we're talking about now, that's the goal. Like get them to command presence. And once I can do that, they're comfortable, I'm comfortable, they're extremely happy. And obviously if you can speak on stage, your confidence is going to naturally increase in other areas of your life. So that's this phase 1 through 3 process is pretty simplified. And I don't have to do 2 phone calls a month. I mean, I can do literally, I use Marco Polo with some of my clients. But I can literally just dial it down to one call per month. And it's basically a check-in call, because I'll do a lot of my feedback comes via video. So a lot of that just goes, I plug in YouTube and then plug it right back to them. So that's kind of where we're at. But this gives it a more dialed in approach. Now I just need to make it pretty.
Right. And so that's basically the framework. So let's map out the framework. And then what we do is we bring my team in and we build out the exterior, right? And then we get and then what happens is the interior designer comes in and cleans it all up on the inside. But without that framework, we're not going to be able to really, put anything together. Right. Right. So one of the things I really want to get clear with, though, before we roll out this new approach and this new direction, is I really want to dive deep into your audience.
Okay.
And I really want, and maybe on our next call, we could dive deeper into creating some user profiles for Think React Lead. And
what's the user profile? What are you talking about?
So your ideal client.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Right? Because it's interesting what happens when we go through this exercise. The result is you really start to find the internal struggles deep, like 7 layers deep.
Okay.
As to why they're coming to you, right, in the first place. Right. And when you find that out, you are now able to dial in your messaging to them via video, via Facebook, via Instagram, and et cetera, email, and you're able to craft a much more laser focused message. You're doing a hell of a job now, but imagine what it's going to be like when you actually can talk to Tom Smith, the motivational speaker who is looking to take his business from 10 grand a month to $25,000 a month and really craft his story. And the reason why he reached out to you is because he lost this huge $50,000 speaking gig one day because you just didn't come polished enough. And so when you start to hear all of that, you can start to really speak to that. And then you want to talk about, how your level of resonating with those people, how that will just blow off the chart. Right. So on our next call, I want to really go into the user profiles of 3 very specific but individual types of people. Okay. And really dive deep. And then after that, what I would like to do is talk about the customer's journey or the client's journey. So how did they engage? Why did they engage with you? How did they engage with you? What makes them come back for more? What makes them refer you out to other people? Right? So we want to know the ins and outs of these folks so that we can talk to them very, very specifically, because you heard Gary Vee talk about it 1,000 times. It's about going super deep, not wide. Right. So if you could talk to that one individual, like you're talking to their soul, that's a whole different ball game of connection. Okay. And that's that's how you build this brand, and you command presence with the brand. Right. Yeah. My goal is to have a
command presence in every single thing I do, or that's being done for me, i.e. branding is being done for me.
Yes.
Some social media kid was like, your social media is good, but it does not talk to what you bring when you get on stage. Like it doesn't, like it's nice, but what you do on stage compared to what I see on social media, it's not a disconnect. It's just not.
It's like, not as impactful.
It's like putting Coca-Cola in a Shasta bottle.
Right. And that seems to be the biggest reason why clients reach out to me and ask for branding help, because they have these phenomenal services. They have these phenomenal businesses that have tremendous value to provide, but that value isn't being communicated at the level that it should. And that's all that guy said to you.
Right.
That's all he's saying. And I would, I take that as a compliment.
That was feedback. No, yeah, totally. The fact that he wouldn't even come talk to me, like he's like, dude, you're $1 million brand, but he said, I've never seen your social media until I saw you on stage. When I saw your social media, it doesn't, like he was expecting Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas type of
on social.
Right, exactly.
And it wasn't there.
Right.
That's a great piece of feedback. And so, I would say, I would have asked them another question, like how, why, like what's missing?
So I did ask him that. He said the website looked good, but your he said what did he tell me? And he's like 20 years old, but his mind was just great.
No,
he's like,
that's fine.
You have a lifestyle brand. He made me realize that the stuff that I did, like people are interested in that. He said, I watched some of your videos. You talk about skateboarding. You and your wife ride the Ducatis, and you mountain bike. And you do. He's like, I don't. That's what's going to draw. I'm 20 years old. He said, that's what's going to draw me into that. He said, I know that about you because I saw you on stage, but it's not here. Like I don't see it. So that's kind of where that's what spawned the video that I just started to do. I was like, okay, well, obviously I do these things, but I just get so caught up. I do these things to relax. Like I don't skateboard, mountain bike, wakeboard, and ride my motorcycle for the world to see. But I get what he's saying. He said, if you want to build this brand, like your videos are cool, but everybody's not going to watch those. Like they want to be, so you talk about entertainment from a social media standpoint, that's entertaining. So that's where that whole lifestyle piece comes into play. And that's what got my mind thinking. I was like, okay, how is it that I got the ability to wakeboard and skateboard and race Ducatis and do these things? Speaking landed me all of this stuff. So how can I help other people do the same thing? So it's building the bridging the gap between the Think, React, Lead lifestyle approach and building out platforms there. And then, but first monetizing off the stages that I go on, and then commanding presence from a standpoint of, okay, these speakers are coming to me to learn how to talk.
Right. How
can I monetize on that so I can take that money and build out Think, React, and Lead?
Yes. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you in this call is from the minute you get on stage, that's when the process begins, right? Mm-hmm. So every time you walk off stage, what's the next step? So you're gonna get bombarded with people that are like, how do I get to work with you, right? And I would have a business card specifically for that next step. And so the business card would be real sharp. Maybe it's square, maybe it's rounded corners, maybe it's plastic, something that wows them, right?
Right.
And you basically give it to them and you say, if you want to take the next step with me, you go to the link that's on this card and get started today.
What are your thoughts on putting on the card just the speaker?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And it's just, and that could be your tagline, if you will.
Right.
So we have the Superfans coach. Jesse Miller is the CEO's coach, right? You're going to be the speaker. It's great. I love it. I think that's exactly what it is that you do. And so let's not make people guess or, people hate to guess, right? They just want what it is, right? So you just give it to them. And so, and you give it to them in a clean, simplistic way where it's like a no-brainer. Like, unfortunately, people don't like to think anymore. So
they don't, and I'm okay with that.
And then the other thing that I want to suggest is think about, and this was given to me by one of my coaches recently. They said, essentially, you are helping a certain clientele that is somewhat of a reflection of you. And a lot of the things that you struggled with getting to where you are today is where a lot of other folks are struggling. So, my first strategy call today was from a client in the UK who does exactly what I do.
Oh, wow.
And people ask me all the time, well, why'd you take him on as a client? Isn't that like breeding the competition? And I go, no, nobody's going to be another Henry Kaminski. And I'm confident in that, right? The second thing is it's a whole nother user profile that I can serve at a high level. Right. Because I've gone through all of the steps and chapters that they haven't quite gone through yet. So like the questions that he was asking me today was, take me back 5 years ago, take me back 6 years ago when you were building your team. How did you get the consistency and the quality through to your designers so that they could craft design and creative as well as you do? Well, it's a process, and it takes time and it takes patience. And so I walked them through that. What kind of platforms do you work off of? How did you develop your system? How are you able to produce all of this content and be so omnipresent? Right. And so I give him all of it because you know why? He's either going to execute on it or he's not. And why have him go through all the trials and tribulations that I went through if he's paying me to shortcut him? Right. And a lot of coaches don't do that. They get intimidated by the people. I told him, I said, the call right after you is my mentor call with my mentor. And I said, we're all in this line together. Right. Chris is up front. You got me in the middle and you got you in the back. And it's just a matter of time until we all move through all of the same experiences that we're all going through. But if we can all help each other down the line, you think we're going to get to where we want to be a lot faster? Heck yeah. So that's the way I look at it. So, be open-minded to the folks that you serve, but think about all the folks that are the next Dom Faussette. I shouldn't say the next Dom Faussette, but want to be the next Dom Faussette. Right. And have that empathy for them and guide them in the right direction. Okay. So, I think this is a great move for you because, our last call, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty concerned. I wanted to make sure that the direction was moving forward and, you had you were dialed into what it is that you truly wanted to do and be fulfilled doing it. Right. And I feel like you found it. Yeah. I just needed like my head to be clear and really get dialed in on who Dom Faussette is and what, what kind of legacy I want to leave. And what does that look like? For me to be the world's best speaker. Like that's a title that I'm going after. And who is Dom Faussette? Dom Faussette, he's a dude that's comfortable in his own skin. And it took me 39 years to get here, but I had to understand why it took me so long to get here. And was it so long, or were there life lessons that I had to learn in order for 3+ decades in order to be the best? Because I was on the phone with this guy was Delta Force. He contacts me. He's like, how do you do what you do? And for a JSOC guy for a JSOC guy to contact me and was referred to me by some other huge influencer and asked me how I did what I did,
Like to me, that was huge. Like, okay, like this dude's the best, but it takes to get to where he's at. It took Ranger School, takes years of combat to even get selected to be talked to about going to that world. So I look at it from a standpoint of, okay, I went through a lot of crap to get to where I'm at, but I needed to go through all of that if I want to be the best. Now, if I want to be average, I didn't need to. I could have gone through a quarter of that and been good. But I look at speaking as to me, it's a sport. It's a competition. So when I get on stage, my goal is to gain my whole audience's attention, not half of them, but every single person. But how do I do that? And there's a process that I use that allows me to talk to every single person in that audience. And now I just want to share that process. But when I get on stage and I know there's other speakers, like I do research on other speakers when I know they're going to be there. I'm like, okay, this is his story, done. This is her story. Okay, I'm going to get there. It's a boxing match, and I get in, and to me, that's like the think, react, lead way of speaking. And I want to create, it just builds confidence for me, and it allows me to live a decent lifestyle. Yeah. And I want to create that for other people.
Yeah. That's why we've connected, is because I feel the same way. I have a pretty up and down background, life wasn't terrible, but it wasn't smooth sailing either.
Exactly.
Right. But at the same time, I had to go through all of those experiences to be able to be the influence that I am today.
Right.
And I live a pretty beautiful life, man. And so do you. And how do you get other people to realize that? Because when I really do a survey of folks that are out there living day to day, it's like they're really not fulfilled. They're really not living. Like life is living for them. They're not living for life, right?
Right, totally.
I want to see people live life proactively, like I live it, Right. And I have to, and I've come to the conclusion that you can only help folks that want to swim towards you and want that same for themselves. And the folks that don't want that, it's okay.
Right.
Like, you just accept it, and you only focus on the folks that want the same as you. And so when I started to do that, I realized that like I live my life is a lot less stressful, because I'm not trying to convince anybody.
Right.
It's like, you're going to either do this or you're not going to do this. You're either going to see the value in it or you're not going to see the value in it. And if you don't, that's cool. I'm sure you're going to find something in the future that's going to be able to help you do whatever it is that you want to do. But I agree, man. We just want to see people live happy lives like we do. And that's it.
It's the best thing in the world. So that's yeah. Like I said, I needed that break. Once I came back from St. Thomas, just to I don't want to be a career coach. I don't want to be a life coach. I don't want. So what do I want? I can easily talk about a million things. I just want to be the Jordan of speaking.
There you go.
Or the Mike Tyson of speaking. I want to get on stage. Obviously I do, but I want people to see that they can do it too. Like if you do with Tourette's and the stutters can speak the way that I do.
And we talked about that. I think you are it's far too long. It's been far too long that Dom Faussette has not created his own little mini documentary of how it all started.
That I'm working on, and I talked to my videographer, and we'll be going to California before it gets too hot, so before June. So after my event in April, we're going to 2575 Sunset Lane in San Bernardino, California, and the video starts there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be very emotional for you. It's going to be awesome to see that emotion come out of you.
Oh man.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember, I did the same thing you did. I went to 112 Seaview Ave in Long Branch, New Jersey. In the house, you could blow on it and it'll probably fall down.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't look much different when I lived in it. But
right.
At the same time, it's humbling to see where you started and where you're at now. And there's a lot of grace in that.
I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, but it's still a fear of mine, just because I haven't really, I've swung by there once on my way to Disneyland with my daughter, my son, and my wife, but I haven't gone just me. It'll just be me and my videographer, maybe one other dude just for support from the camera stuff. But yeah, we'll go and yeah, I'm between April and June. I mean, so May.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So next steps, because I'm just looking at the time, I want to make sure that we got everything covered. So next steps is for you to sit down and map out the process from beginning to end for the customer's journey. So when the minute they come in contact with you to the minute they exit this program that you want to roll out and that you're currently selling, what does that look like on paper? Step one. Yeah. What are the steps? You know, you can module it out. Module 1 is introduction. You know, module 2 is strategy, and module 3 is execution. However you want to map that out, you know, but map that out. Let me take a peek at it. I'll give you the feedback, right?
Totally.
And do it step by step. I want to see step by step.
Okay.
And then from there, we can now take that, and that'll be our blueprint, if you will. Okay, so if he needs to get to a page that charges him $97 for a introductory consult, then we need an order form page, we need an order confirmation page, we need a questionnaire built out to embed on that confirmation. So this will give me the understanding of what is needed to build this out for you, and then we build it out.
Perfect.
Right. And then the next thing is I just want you to think about 3 different types of individuals that you want to serve at the highest level, that you have the most fun serving.
Okay.
And I just want you to create 3 different names for them. Right. And it could be any name. Have fun with it, right? It could be ridiculous. I don't care. The more ridiculous the 3 names are, the more fun it's going to be. And then I want you to create an archetype for each one of those names or each one of those individuals. And an archetype is like a personality type.
Okay.
Right? The go-getter, the go-getter, the procrastinator, the confused, you know, and we'll come back with those 3 names and those 3 archetypes on our next call. And on our next call, we're going to build out each one of those individuals. Okay. From the bottom up. And you're going to see the clarity that comes out. I could actually show you an example since we have some time.
Okay.
So if we come here, open this up.
I use MindJet right now.
MindJet? Yeah, that's a cool software. So let me go to this client here. This client was probably one of the most impressive clients I've worked with when it comes to really defining who it is that his customers are. And when we got down to, so who are we designing for? Mm-hmm. We have Amanda Thompson, who's the mask wearer. And mind you, this is a client from Australia. He's actually a general practitioner. He's a physician. He's a doctor. Okay. And so he's helping other doctors pass their exam to become a general practitioner. Oh, wow. Okay. What he's also doing is creating a framework for each doctor that comes into his program to become a safer doctor and a doctor that is going to be respected. And so these are the top 6 brand attributes that we created out of this exercise. And it was effective. He wants to be effective. He wants to help his clients see clarity. He wants to do it in an authentic voice. He wants to be empowering. He wants a higher quality, safer practice for his doctors. and he wants to do it with spiritual energy. This guy's a very spiritual dude. And I think that helped him in many ways when we were going through this exercise, because it was almost like these individuals were speaking to him like they were real.
Got it.
Right? So we look at the demographics, we look at their backstory, we look at the symptoms, we look at what are they feeling right now that's making them want to find more information about you and how you could potentially help them.
Okay.
Right. And then we go deep. We look at the problems, and we look at the root cause, not just the surface level stuff, but the root cause. Right. And we go really deep. And then what we do is we look at the goals and objectives. What are they trying to do? Like, at the end of the day, what are they trying to do? Mm-hmm. And this particular user profile, she just wants to have clean boundaries between work and life. She wants to leave work at work. She wants to be more confident in her work. She wants to know what makes her a good doctor and what's enough. She wants to be loved by her patients. She wants to be respected and valued. So this is the deep, deep dive that we want to go in, right? And then there's the solution. Well, what are we going to do? What is Dom Faussette? What does Think React Lead as a brand going to provide Tom Smith?
Okay.
And we map that out. And this is where we can get really creative with it. Right?
Got it.
Here's another one. Andrew Thompson. He's the displaced. That's the that's the archetype that he is. We went through the same process. And then I just want to show you.
So he came up with all of this, or he came up with some portions of it?
No, me and him mapped this out step by step together. Right? And then one of the next calls was the user journey.
Okay.
And we do the user journey for each individual. It's not this blanket generic user journey.
Got it.
What did Amanda Thompson do? How did she find out about graduate medicine? What made her engage with graduate medicine? What makes them return to graduate medicine? And why are they recommending graduate medicine to other folks? Right? So replace graduate medicine and input Think React Lead.
Got it.
Right? So I don't expect you to do that on your own. That's what we're going to do together over the next couple of calls.
Okay.
And you're going to have this crystal clear vision on these three individuals. And you will now be able, after we go through that, you're going to say to yourself, all right, somebody's going to say, you know what, you should be doing that. And you're going to say, would Tom Smith buy that?
Right.
Would Angela, Jaquinski buy that? And you're gonna ask yourself right away whether or not you should move forward on that based upon those three user types.
Perfect. And that's gonna help me dial in my posts on social media. Because my posts now, I mean, obviously they're encouraging, but they're not dialed in. That'll help me out with my posts, and then my Facebook Lives. It's going to allow me. I won't always just talk about speaking, but I'll probably do it once, twice a week from a live standpoint. But it'll allow me to set precedence and set a stage for what exactly it is that Dom Faussette does.
Exactly. And when you get that message dialed in like that, you're going to start to get responses like, are you underneath my desk today? Are you sneaking? Like, are you in this house right now?
Oh yeah, I get those now. Did you hear the conversation I just had with my husband? I've those types of messaging. But I think when you are purposeful with what you do, and when I talk about command presence, it's when your intuition tells you to do something, you do it at that moment, not when you're comfortable, when you're uncomfortable. And when you have a post, and we've all done it, we have this, you know what? I'm going to post this. But you might say to yourself, that's a little tough. I don't know if I could. But if you post it, for me, as long as I reach one person a day and change their environment for that moment, I've done my job. So yeah, it feels good to be where I'm at now in this space, understanding me.
Right. And that's awesome. So this call today was just to give you that clarity on the framework that we just need to build out, because again, we need the foundation built before we put the house on it.
Right.
And this is what we need to do. So I love the new look. I mean, I love the new approach. I love the new direction. I feel like that is you.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the one-liner that I told you when we first started working together?
Stay in your lane.
Boom.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. And there you have it. I mean, so I love that you took that time. You needed that time, dude.
Yeah.
I saw it in your face. And,
rough.
I left that call heavy-hearted. I did. And I'm so glad that you took the time and you did it, because now look at you. You have the clarity, you have the focus, you have the energy back, the strength.
Mm-hmm.
You have the enthusiasm. I can see it. Like, it's just that look on your face. So, dude, I'm here behind you 1,000%, man. Let's just get the ball rolling. I want to make sure that you do it properly and in the right steps. And you put those horse blinders on and you go.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So when you get a chance, between now and our next call, shoot me over the framework.
Yep.
You can email it over, whatever you want to do. That's simple. And then when you get that, if you get that video produced and finalized before our next call, I really want to see what that looks like.
Okay, cool.